Hello everyone, welcome to CJS 322 Mediation. So my name is Sam and I'll be your mediator today. I wanted to thank both of you for coming in today and your willingness to participate in this mediation session, so thank you both. Can you please go ahead and introduce yourselves?
My name's Amanda.
I'm Bo.
Alright, is it okay if I call you by your first names?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. So I'd like to start this mediation session by outlining the mediation process for you and for going over some ground rules for the session today. Mediation is a process in which a neutral third party, which will be myself, helps individuals resolve their conflict. Mediated agreements are typically more satisfying and longer lasting than other methods of conflict resolution. So like I said, thank you both for being here today. As a mediator, I'm here to help you communicate with one another as a neutral, impartial party. I don't have any authority to decide who's right and who's wrong. I don't make any decisions for you, and I also do not provide legal counsel. Everything that we'll discuss today will remain private. The only exceptions to this privacy are if we become aware of any felony-level criminal behavior, child abuse, or any threats or acts of violence are made against yourself or each other. At some point, I may find it necessary to meet with each of you individually. This is called a caucus, and these meetings will also remain confidential from the other party unless you choose to share what we discuss. So the ground rules that I kind of want to set for today are based on respect. Each party will have their chance to share what brought you in today. When this is happening, I ask that the other party does not interrupt. I also ask that you refrain from name calling and that you treat each other with respect. Do you agree to these ground rules?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have anything that you would like to add?
Nope.
Nope. Thank you. So if you think of something that you'd like to say while the other person is talking, I encourage you to write it down so that you don't forget it, and that so we refrain from interrupting each other. I'll also be taking notes during this session, however they will be destroyed at the end of the mediation process, so like I said, everything is going to remain confidential. We can take as much time as we need to reach a resolution. We can also take breaks at any time at either of your requests, so just let me know if you need to step out for a moment. If we need more time, we can definitely reschedule another session at your convenience. This mediation session is scheduled from 3:30 to 4 p.m. today. Are there any other time constraints that we should be aware of?
No.
That time works for both of you then?
Yes.
Okay. So are there any questions before we get started today?
Nope.
All right. How about we begin with Amanda, since you were the one that came to me about having this mediation session. Does that work with you if you share with us first, Amanda?
Sure.
And Bo, does that work with you as well?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, so I have worked here at the juvenile center for 12 years now, and I have a really good understanding of what goes on here. I'm really great at my job, and I like to think I'm well respected at work. So when I was given the task a few months ago when Bo got here to train him, I trained him and I taught him everything that I know about the center, and just like gave him my knowledge, kind of like creating that mentorship, I guess. So when this issue occurred, I really just didn't appreciate him giving any sanctions without my permission or without like asking me or coming to me. First, I feel like it's kind of, I don't know, it's not necessarily against protocol, but it's usually better to check with a superior before you do that. And I didn't agree with his sanctions as well. So that was like, it was frustrating for me.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit what it was like training Bo? Do you enjoy training other people?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. It's something that I like to do, and it's something I've done a lot since I've been here for 12 years.
Okay. All right, so thank you for sharing that. Bo, can you tell us what brought you in for mediation today?
Yeah. I started working at the facility about 3 months ago, like she said, and I've always kind of enjoyed working with youth, and I was really thrilled, getting this position. I had completed my training, and the situation that got out of dealing with it, it was kind of an escalated situation, and I made a judgment call. I, with my experience in training with her, she was great, phenomenal. She taught me how to do the job well. I just don't agree with some of the paths that she takes when dealing with youth, such as holding them by technique called pulling them by the hand and working the situation out. I just wanted to learn my job to just be able to do it. And that's essentially the core of it. I ended up. So the core of the situation was I found a resident that was smoking, and I politely confronted him and told him to not smoke. Whereas, screaming, shoving the furniture ensued, and though I don't think the screaming was necessarily directed at me because the resident was yelling things such as, I'm done with this place, I need to get out of here, stuff along those lines, so I thought it was a deeper underlying issue. So I wrote up and I issued him to counseling, as I thought that was what was best, because I thought there was a deeper underlying issue with the whole situation. So.
Okay, so based on what you've told me, it sounds like you have a lot of respect for Amanda and for the training that she gave you. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. She's one of my superiors. She has a lot of experience, and I look up to that. I just wish this whole situation was brought to me instead of, blowing out of proportions to the whole department. So.
Okay, so was there anything else that you wanted to add?
No.
Okay, so after hearing from both of you at this time, I think it would be a good idea for me to hold a caucus with each of you. So as I explained earlier, that is just an individual meeting that I will have with each of you. I'm going to ask the other person to step out in the hall during this time. This information will remain just between me and you unless you decide that you would like to share it. So, Bo, is it okay if I meet with Amanda first?
Yes.
Okay, can you please step out in the hall then?
Certainly.
All right, Amanda. So based on kind of what we talked about, it sounds like you would have handled the situation a little bit differently. Can you kind of tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I would have handled the situation a little bit differently. Like Bo said, the method that I like to use is a little bit more hand-holding. I don't know that I would have sanctioned counseling right away. I would have liked to talk with the youth myself, but when I thought about it, counseling really isn't a bad idea. It could really be good for our resident. It just comes down to me, I guess feeling a little bit hurt or disrespected because I do have that experience, and I wanted Bo to be able to come to me and ask my opinion on the situation before actually sanctioning anything.
Okay, thank you for sharing that with me. Can I just ask you what would be the ideal outcome of this mediation session from your point of view?
Yeah, absolutely. So it boils down to me feeling disrespected. So I guess the issue that I would like to see handled is Bo and other employees that are at his level as well being comfortable coming to me to talk about any of the issues that they have at work or like any of the issues they have with our residents before actually sanctioning anything.
Okay, thank you. So was there anything else that you wanted to add before we end our caucus?
Nope.
All right, so before I go ahead and hold a caucus with Bo, would it be okay if that when we came back together that I kind of discussed openly what we talked about in here, or was there anything that you would like to remain confidential?
No, it's okay to share that.
Okay. Well, thank you. Would it be okay if you step out in the hall and send Bo in?
Yep.
Thank you. Hi, thank you for waiting in the hall.
Hello.
So based on kind of what we chatted about earlier, it sounds like that you're upset that it's been applied that you didn't really pay attention to your training. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, no, from experience and learning from, training and whatnot, I feel like I have the necessary skills and tool sets to be able to make, sanctions such as counseling. I look up to Amanda and her experience, and she's highly respected in the department, and it is kind of intimidating to know that someone with such high experience is wishing that I had done something else and confront her. So
Can I just ask what you think the ideal outcome of this mediation session would be from your point of view?
well, coming from me, it's my personal job security. I don't want to lose my job. I want to keep doing what I'm doing. I enjoy working with the youth and this whole program. I was excited when I got the job. However, I do believe that it was blown out of proportion. I would have rather have kept it, on an individual basis. But at its core, I'm worried about job security.
Okay, so just kind of based on what we've talked about, you're kind of feeling insecure in your job because the situation wasn't handled just between you and Amanda, but because it was reported higher than that?
Correct.
Okay, thank you for sharing that with me. Is there anything else that you wanted me to be aware of today?
Nope.
Okay, so before I call Amanda back in, I did want to ask you, is it okay if we talk about the things that went on between me and you, or would you rather that everything we talked about remained confidential?
No, absolutely.
We can talk about
Yes.
it all? Okay, thank you so much. Amanda, can you come back in, please? All right, so thank you both for allowing me to chat with you both privately. You both expressed that you were okay with me sharing between the two of you what each of us discussed in our meetings. So based on the conversations that we had privately as well as the conversation that was held between all three of us earlier, I've kind of got an idea of what I think the main issues that we want to address today are. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of explain what I think they are, and then we can chat about that, okay? All right, so Amanda, it sounds like the main issue that you're kind of looking to address is that you want your experience at the center to be appreciated and respected, and that you want to be looked to for advice, especially from individuals that you trained.
Yes.
All right, and then Bo, it looks like the main issue that you're looking to address is your job security as well as just feeling what happened with your reputation in regards to this incident. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right. Is there any other issues that you would like to add for us to discuss through this mediation? Okay. So thank you for helping me outline the issues that we'll discuss. Unfortunately, we are out of time, so we're going to have to resume this in our next session. But thank you both for coming in, and I look forward to speaking with you next time.